Alright, so today I'm going to try to take a little bit more of an in-depth video on these 4-ton mini split systems. These are branded as Klimaire, but they are a Midea product. And the issues we've been having are these little blower motors squeaking over time. I took one of those out and opened it all up and found the bearings inside. I was able to track down, those are like a metric sized bearing, and I'm assuming this is probably I have the most experience with like Klimaire, Fujitsu, Daikin. Like if this was a Daikin or a Fujitsu, you could get those motors. These, you can't get the motors. I can't find them anywhere to order, so I just opened one up, found a replacement bearing, better quality bearing, and I've already done, there's a system right over here that I've already done, and it worked just fine, stopped all the whistling. And so now what we're doing is we're going to go ahead and remove these two motors here, take them apart, replace the bearings in them, and then we're going to do these two systems over here as well. It's actually pretty simple. You have a pigtail here coming off your motor. This is probably going to be similar to all mini split systems in a roundabout kind of a way. And then they plug in, you have these two little control boards here that mount on the inside of the unit. I've taken those loose, unplugged both the motors, and I have taken the shroud off. You can see there's just some little plastic clips there and there that pop off, exposing the squirrel cage. And then we're just going to, there's two screws here and here that will drop this motor out. So pretty straightforward. All right, as you can see, the motor is down. These are the little clips here that hold that motor in place. Just two small screws, that's all it is. All right, let's go ahead and pull the other one out. All right, so now what we're gonna do here, we're taking these bolts here off, and we're gonna separate this motor right here. Okay, so now we have the motor separated, and this is the little circuit board, and all it is just a pin to a pin. There's no chips, there's nothing in here electronic. You just have these little jumpers coming over, and all we're going to do is take a solder tool and heat these back up, slide a small screwdriver underneath, and just gently lift. Is the way I did the last ones. There may be a better way, this is just my way. So I'll heat that one, gently lift, and just kind of work it off this side. And that's all there is to it. So I'm not very good at soldering and using a screwdriver and a camera with one hand, so I'm going to push pause here. So now we have our board off right here, and you can see I'll just take a razor blade and just kind of work that old solder off and clean out those little pegs, or those little holes there, those little prongs, and that's it. So we'll go ahead and pull that shaft out. All right, so here's our shaft. This obviously is magnetic, so it's good to take a little air hose and blow off the work areas so you're not getting a lot of shavings and stuff stuck to this. And then once I get the bearings replaced, I blow it all off again really good before I put it back into the motor housing, just because I don't want any debris inside this guy. So this is my little bearing deal I set up. You've got your little I forget what those things are called, goodness gracious, sorry, brain freeze, but you got a little clip there holding that bearing in place. So I'll just take and slide this guy kind of behind those washers, not touching that little clip, and just tap into the shaft very gently with a little hammer and just kind of pop that right off. Works really, really well, and just two small washers and a vise pull those off. All right, so there's the shaft. I've got the bearings pulled off, and I don't know if you can tell this, but there's some writing right there. It's a Z1025, something like that. But those are the numbers that I just put into a Google search engine, or into Google, and got the measurement, the measurement on these, which I forget what it was. Here's the new bearings here. But it was actually really easy to find these bearings. Wasn't, just a standard bearing. And we ordered these. It's a Taiwanese, and well, either these were made in Taiwan or Japan. $6 a piece. We ordered them off eBay. Alright, now we got the little board back in place. We're just going to resolder each of those pins and check for continuity, just to make sure from here to here it's pretty straightforward and simple. Alright, we've got both the little motors here been rebuilt. We're going to take them back down and reinstall them, and that's really it. It's pretty straightforward. Like I said, this is for Midea, and all you have on these guys, they're not as complicated as you think. The board that this plugs into, that would be something that when that board goes bad, then the unit gets replaced. So these systems were kind of purchased with the idea of you get 5 to 7 years out of them, very energy efficient. They essentially kind of pay for themselves over that 5 to 7 years, and then once your control boards start going out, you just replace the system in its entirety. These little bearings here were so cheap and easy to replace that we elected to go ahead and replace the bearings as opposed to scrapping the entire unit. That was the mindset or the thought process behind it, and we've had really good luck with these systems. Biggest thing is you just got to follow the installation guideline, and like I said, we've had very little issues. This has been the only real problem. What I would consider kind of a failure or a poor design was just these little cheap bearings. That's it.